Hello, everybody. This is Katy from Greenland Quilter. We have changed my channel name to help it out a little bit. And I'd like to welcome back Kim for part 3 of our interview concerning cotton cuts. So the first question, I wanted to finish up talking a little bit about the PMQ. When you pre-plan for the next PMQ, what steps do you have to do to create the idea of what the next one will look like? And how do you come up with the name of the PMQ as well as the names of each colorway?
Oh, so great question. So PMQs start like 9 months before we actually put the colorways on our website. So Sheila Christensen is our business partner, design partner, friend in New Zealand, and not in New Zealand. And she comes up with the design concept and then she'll send it to me. I'll take a look at it. I'll give her some ideas, some feedback, some suggestions based upon things we've heard from our members. And then she finalizes the design. And I'm collecting a list. Every time a sales rep comes to visit me, I'm taking a look at different collections and kind of picking what would fit well for a shipping date for the next mystery. And then I give her a list of collections. She also puts together some ideas. She does all the different colorways for us. And so when I get those, I pull them down, I look at them, I pick which I think will sell, which one I think our detectives want. You've been in those Zooms so long, because I'm always asking folks like, hey, what colorways do you guys want to see? And someone this time asked for Southwest colors, which was funnel cake. Someone really liked some solid batiks, which was ring toss and bomb pop, right? So, you know, I like to listen to people and give them what they want. It kind of works for us. But yeah, so we take the suggestions we get, and then I feed that into the colorways, and I give her feedback, and it goes around and around. And then the fun part is figuring out what I can actually get. And so I have to contact all our sales reps. Our orders are big. I don't know if people understand the kind of scope and scale. Like, it costs about $250,000 to start up a mystery. We have to buy a lot of fabric.
Wow.
And so, yeah, so not every manufacturer can support that. And more importantly, not everyone can ship us everything we need at the beginning. Sometimes we have to take multiple shipments just because our volumes are so big. And so like lavender right now, for knee deep, and like a lavender boat is just docked, right? That fabric was promised to us 2 months ago. And this is the first time it's really had a significant delay on us, but we couldn't get all the fabric we needed to include as many people as possible. So this happens. And so I'm working with suppliers. What can I get? What can I get reprinted? What volumes? What's your ship schedule? When are we going to receive it? And making sure everything makes it here to make it as seamless and painless for all of our detectives as possible. Once we have all those final colorways, I put them on the website, and then everyone gets excited. And so we usually like to have colorways on the website about a month ahead of time, a month ahead of signups, so that way everyone can get a chance to see and ooh and ah and vote and what do I like and talk to my friends. And then we open signups, and then it's a free-for-all and a sprint.
Why did you decide to let us PMQ mystery detectives participate in the naming of the colorways for the carnival?
For Carnival? Okay, so I didn't answer one of your questions, which is how do we name the quilt?
Okay.
So that's usually a collaboration between Sheila and I. So we'll look at the finished design and she'll come up with a name. And usually I'm like, sure, sounds great. Like, you're the designer. That sounds fantastic. Colorways naming has gone through about 16 different iterations since for our 16 different quilts, not surprising. One of them, my son picked all the colorway names. So sweet, all the donuts. My 10-year-old picked all the names. Yes, I know. He picked all, I had a list of all these donut names, and he just matched the name to the colorway he thought it went with. Sometimes I pick them, sometimes Sheila picks them. This time I was like, guys, let's do something different. Let's let the people name them. And so that was a lot of fun, having all this popular vote for who gets to name what colorway. Sometimes we do have a little bit of production implications with the colorway names because they can be confusing. Right now, my team is working with Skydiver and Skyflyer and trying to differentiate the colorways when we're picking and pulling parts. Yeah, so that's fun. But right, so there's a whole bunch of considerations that go into names for all these colorways. But this time I was like, let's let the folks decide. I liked that. I thought that went really well. I think we'll probably keep it up, especially with a theme that's as connectable as as Carnival. right? Everyone's been to a carnival, everyone's been to a fair, everyone has their favorite memories. Like, I feel like this theme had a lot that folks could connect to. You know, when we picked Piazza, not a lot of folks have connections to Italian squares where, you know, certain battles were fought. So that might be a harder one to get, you know, people to vote on, but I feel like this one, it worked for what we did.
Were you happy with the feedback that you got from doing this for the first time?
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, it's a name, right? And it's, I mean, it's one of those things, a lot of thought and consternation can go into it, but in 6 months, you're never going to remember kind of all the, it's just the name. It is what it is. It's like naming your child. Once you name that child, it is always that name. And it's, you could never see them differently. And so I feel like that's just how it goes.
Do you have a favorite of any of the PMQs in the past that you love the most out of all of them, and why?
So I feel like this is a fun question. So I like all of them differently, right? Again, there are 16 of my children. I put a lot of love and care into each one. I would say one of my personal favorites was This Way and That Way. And so it was a dancing theme. And it was the first quilt that I made and gave to my firstborn nephew. And I loved it. It is one of the prettiest quilts, and it has so much, like, just so much of me in it. And it was the first time that I'd made like a very, very pretty quilt and been proud of giving it away. And so, you know, his mom picked it out while she was still pregnant with him. And she, like the detectives, just picked a color wheel. I said, pick a color theme that you think is going to represent your son. And she picked a color wheel, and that's the quilt that I ended up making for her. And I loved it. It just holds special meaning to me. My kids helped sew some pieces together. It's one of my favorites.
Oh, cool. So do you have a picture of it?
Yeah. I can probably get you one. I think it was posted in the Mystery Quilters group. That I know for sure, because we had 2 quilts that we showed here for the reveal, and that was one of them. Okay. I know, I'm sure I have a picture of my 11-year-old laying on it in the grass somewhere. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now I want to move over a little bit and let's talk about Carnival, because my goodness. So can you tell us whether you think that you had a blast of excessive amount of orders, or would you like to talk about what's happened with this time?
Right. So Carnival, right? So this is something, right? We've been doing this a while. And I'm always thinking about ways in which we can improve what we do for all of our detectives, and ways in which we can continue to expand on our capacity. And so we have had, with challenges at the post office is having a lot of issues, a lot of lost packages, right? That's frustrating for our members. It's frustrating for us, right? Our team does our job. We put our packages together, we put them in the mail, and they get lost. It's frustrating because you're not getting what you want, and we're doing everything we can. We're also having just a lot of challenges with missing parts and pieces, right? This is something for multiple reasons along the chain, parts and pieces get missing. And so I was like, for our international detectives, we've always shipped every single piece of fabric at the beginning of the program and then emailed them clues. And I was like, why don't we just take all this stress off all of our systems, take all the stress off the mail, and why don't we just put all of the people that prepay, that pay in full up front, and send them all their fabric at once and email them, just like an international detective. And so, you know, this is the first time we've done this at this scale. We had 700 people do this. That exceeded my expectation, right?
Great.
So 700 people. So that's 7,000 clues that we had to cut, die cut, cut off the bolt, iron, die cut, kit, package, and send. It has taken us longer than I would have wanted it to. I mean, in my ideal world, like, everything goes out on time every time. But we learned so much through this process. Like, my team, we've really stretched our capacity. We've stretched our skills, like things that, you know, you do a process for a certain period of time and you start to think there's only one way to do it. And it takes kind of external stress like this to really stretch what's possible. And so my team has completely risen to the challenge. This is a big project that we're working on right now. And you know, they're crushing it. They're putting in extra hours. They are doing everything we need to do to get this out. I know that there's a lot of people that are like patiently and impatiently waiting for their clues to arrive. I get it. it's a 10-month program. Like, you're going to get it before Clue 2 gets to really anyone else. Like, they're gumming, I promise. Everyone is positively biased towards putting out a very high quality product as quickly as we can. We don't want to compromise and lead to any problems down the road. And I think that in general, this is going to lead to a much more positive long-term experience for our folks. Because as soon as that email comes out, people are going to start sewing it. You're not going to have to wait 2 days, 5 days, 14 days, and then have to put in a request and wait 2 days, 5 days, 14 days more. Like, you have everything in your hands that you need to solve to do each mystery each month. And I feel like that's a better experience for a lot of our folks. And I know this, like, short-term pain, but I feel like in general, the program is healthier because of it.
Yeah. Do you think that you got more took in more detectives this go around than last time?
I think that there were a lot of people that were motivated by getting all of their fabric at once. I think that was definitely an attractive point. I will be interested to see what happens for the next mystery, to see if the trend continues, and people start seeing the value of, if I prepay and I do one payment, I can sew it the same day the clue comes out. I can sew it Saturday or Sunday. I don't have to wait until Monday or Tuesday for my mail to come, and then I don't have to worry about inconsistencies at the post office, and all of a sudden the post office wants $3 and $4 and sometimes $8 for a package that costs $2 to mail. So I feel like all of that goes away in an environment where everyone has their fabric with them. Now, I think what's going to be interesting is who can keep their box of fabric for 10 full months, right?
Yeah.
I have a feeling there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna misplace that little package of gold. And I mean, we'll see. We will always help everyone out. That is what we do. So if that happens, just let us know.
This is the first year that I've been able to buy at least one of them fully. So I'm so excited about that. The other one's just going to come snail mail, but I'm really excited about doing this because it'll be the first time that I can actually keep up with everyone at the same time, at least with one of them. I'm not, I'm not too terribly sad about the other one, but I think it's a great program that you come up with. And, I think people, if they can save up, I'll be saving quite a bit of money in shipping just because I done that.
Right.
The money I spend on shipping could have bought me a small PMQ. And, so hopefully in the future I'll get where I can put, if I do 2, I'll be able to prepay for 2 instead of just 1.
Right. And I know that there's a lot of folks that like to gather and sew their quilts together. And if everyone has their fabric all at once, nobody's waiting for, a mail carrier that's out sick, or, misdirected mail, or it was delivered to a neighbor that I don't want to talk to. I mean, all these stories, Katie, we've heard them all. And we feel for it because we've been there too, right? We receive mail just like everyone else. And it's one of these, all these packages are insured, all these packages have tracking, right? So everyone will know exactly when this box is going to arrive.
Do you know what your #1 bestseller PMQ is for Carnival?
Not log flume, funnel cake.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So I noticed a couple of days, or 3 or 4 days before you started shipping out things, that there was a link over on Cotton Cuts relating to Flat Nancy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ooh, look at this. This is something new. So can you talk about Flat Nancy and how it'll help everybody start posting pictures of the mystery clues, keeping them motivated?
Yes. So I am delinquent in putting out a communication about Flat Nancy. That is on my plate. As soon as we get all the boxes out, that's a priority. I will be putting out more information about this. So Flat Nancy came from, and I believe it was you, Katie, wanted to know where all of our detectives were. Where are people sewing from? What's going on? Yeah. And we can't proactively put out maps of where our people are. There's privacy concerns, all that good stuff, right? And so it's like, how do we build community and engagement while still connecting people from wherever they're sewing? Right. And then I was like, well, the schools do this Flat Stanley, all these kind of flat iterations. And I was like, why don't we do a Flat Nancy, right? Nancy Drew is a detective character. Why don't we send out these cards with everyone in their clue 1? We usually like to do something fun in clue 1 anyways. I was like, why don't we do this? And then, we'll figure out technology wise how to make it such that you can log in, put your location, write a little description about where you were, take a picture, upload it to the website, and then you can actually see where everyone else is sewing from. And so we put this out in Clue One. I, like I said, have communicated nothing about this other than what's on the website. We already have like 25 people
I know,
that
I
have
saw
already
it.
taken pictures. And these stories, Katie, I am just like, this is the coolest thing ever. This is awesome. And in 10 months, we're going to have so much cool data on there. Like, it's going to be cool little stories. I mean, we'll have to see. We might have to like clear the map each month and then like start over again and then clear the map each month, because it's going to be a lot of points. But I am impressed. I love the creativity that people are submitting with their flat Nancy's. I love this. And we get to give away gift cards to the shop. Even one of my employees was like, "You're going to give away like gift cards?" I'm like, "Yeah, because this is really cool. And the more people that participate, the cooler it is." So like, this is awesome. I am in love with Flat Nancy. One of my interns figured out how to make it work on our website, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, when I opened up the map and I asked in both the Cotton Cuts group and in the Mystery Quilt group, you know, about it, and people started answering it, and I started plugging it in. I'm like, you know, it's really interesting. You know, I don't know Google Maps good enough, but what I got done was pretty cool. And then I didn't know how to share it, so I just took a screenshot and showed it on the web or on the Facebook group. And people were pretty impressed by that, you know, and people are still answering my questions over there of where they live at.
Yeah.
Because I think that one of the things, because I live over the pond, is having a connection with other quilters. And especially if you can sew with those quilters virtually and they're not worried about their privacy because they know it's protected. So I think this is a really great plan that you've come up with.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited to see how this goes. Now, again, you know, we're going to get the like, "Hey, we lost our flat Nancy. Can I get a new one?" The answer is always going to be yes. Like, that's fine. We want people to get to the end of the program, and we want you to be able to participate all 10 months. Like, that is totally fine. It's great. We love the flat Nancy so far.
Okay, so can you explain about the drawings, how it will affect or reflect for international people?
Right. So it's for the entire month after the clue ships. So in theory, you have until August 31st to get a clue one posted. And you know, I'll talk to the intern, we'll figure it out. And I think it's literally any submission that month. So it's not tied to a clue one.
Okay.
Right. So you can sew, right. So this month at the end of August, I don't know what the ship date is, but we'll do clue 2, right? If you're like super speedy and you want to post your clue 2 in August, you can, right? And we'll go through and we'll mine all the data and we'll figure out who posted all 10 clues. But in theory, if you want an entry for the month of August, just enter it by August 31st. And then if you want an entry by September 30th. Right. We'll do all that math on our side. If you do 2 entries a month, that's okay. That's no big deal. We'll figure it all out. So it's not meant to exclude at all. But we do have to set a hard deadline. Otherwise, we'll be like making exceptions here and there and everywhere. So that's why we said, you know, I think it's the end of the month, first of the month at midnight. That's the cutoff. So anyone who submitted is eligible for the gift cards. And then I'm sure we'll come up with a, you know, sewing through clue 9 or 10, we'll come up with, and we'll communicate what that deadline is to have all of your clues. And me, I don't sew 1 clue a month. I would never make the like 1 clue a month deadline. I might submit 4 in 1 month because I binge sew and I just, you know, sew them all at one time and I'll submit 4 separate pictures. That's totally fine, right? The idea, again, we're not excluding, we're trying to include as many people as possible. Do what fits your sewing style the best.
Okay, so that brings me to the next question. Some of us have bought more than one colorway. How does that fit within that?
I don't care.
You don't
Do
care.
each colorway.
So if you're doing 4 PMQs, is that it? Does that constitute 4 entries into the drawing?
Yes. Yeah. If you submit, and I mean, if you sew them in 4 different places, more the merrier. Great. Yes. Fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah. We're literally, so Katie, it's like I tell my team, the first time we do everything, we're not going to have all the answers. We will figure it out as we go. In this case, submit as many entries as you want, as many photos as you want. We always treat everyone equally and fairly. We're not here to get you. This isn't some like major trap. To me, it's to have fun and to build connections. And we're wanting to incent that with gift cards, right? And so anyone who submits an entry within the month window is going to, and we'll do a random number generator. And because I want to make sure it's fair to everyone, we'll probably do a Facebook Live, or we'll probably do a video, and I'll get my little camera out and I'll like take the video of like actually drawing the winners.
Okay. One of the things I also would like to mention about is, because we're all detectives, can you discuss or talk about the third Thursdays PMQ sew along that we do? And also in month 10 when we do the all day sew along, can you tell about that so that the people who are new to PMQ will know all about it, so that they'll know that it's there for their to be able to participate in it since they are a detective?
Right. Okay. So the third Thursday of every month, we have a PMQ sew along. So any detective participating in any mystery of any month can join in and then gather with people that are just sewing other mysteries. Oftentimes we try to put people, like we'll have, for this one, we'll have Village Green, like large and small, Carnival, large and small. I think we've dissolved a little bit away from that. And it's more just a group of people and a group of people. It is a great way for, if you've never sewn a PMQ, to come and ask questions from very seasoned, experienced people. It's also a great way to just set aside time each month to sew that clue, because it can realistically be sewn in that period of time. It is a great way to see other colorways come together. I appreciate it because I get to see, 10, 12 people in a breakout room sewing different colorways. That is awesome to me. It's fun conversation. It's getting to meet people from all around the world. I think that's different than a lot of, say, like local quilt shops, because local quilt shops are people that are from like a regional geographic. We're all over the world, right? You can participate in Greenland. We have people participating in California. We have people all over the world that are able to participate in this. And it's just fun to meet new people from different places. I think people might have the misconception that this is going to be a tutorial and we're going to teach you how to sew the clue. That's not what the intention of this is. It's just an intent. It's like open sew, bring your sewing machine, bring your clue, bring your questions, and the group is collectively helping us out. Again, it's community building. If you would like help in sewing your clue, we can definitely provide that, but that is not the purpose of this session.
Yeah, there's plenty of us that can help with questions and things.
Absolutely. And then what we've done in the past and what we will probably continue doing is the day after the big reveal. So the reveal happens Fridays about 2 p.m. on the day of the last clue. And we have a Facebook Live. Everyone sees the quilt at the same time. Everyone gets their instructions emailed to them at the same time. So everyone can start sewing at the same time. We want to make, again, fair, equitable, everyone treated equally. Everyone can participate at the same time. We do an all-day sewing, and then I think like every hour we give away a prize for being there. It's just a good way to get together and ask those questions that you have. If you haven't completed all your clues, you can definitely join in and sew them along, or you can assemble. And I think that several people last time finished them in the day sew along and were able to get their entire mystery quilt done. Yeah,
I did.
Yeah, it's a good, I mean, if you need accountability to finish this quilt, these Thursday sew-ins and the all-day sew-along is the great way to get it done. This is a great way to stay on track and get to the end.
I didn't think that, this was the first time I was able to even be at an all-day. I missed the last one for some reason, but when I had all my clues, I had kept up and got caught up when I got behind, because of the mail system. And then when you did the all day thing and I had everything ready to go and I had it mounted on the thing, and I really, because there was so many of us, it really, really pushed for you to want to get it done, because people were putting them together and they were starting to show big pieces of it. And it really motivated me to get mine done. And I got all of it done except that outside border, and I was really proud of that, because that's the first time I've actually finished a PMQ on the day after the reveal.
Yep. Fantastic. Yeah. I mean, I like that. It's fun, right? That's what we do here. We have fun, right? we're not just giving you fabric and hoping it collects dust, right? We want to make sure you get it done, right? I want to see the finished quilts. That's awesome. That's inspiring to me. That keeps me motivated. I want to see you guys finish these quilts. These aren't meant to be things that collect dust on a shelf.
You are the only quilt company I've seen to create ways for your followers and detectives, as well as those who subscribe of or subscribers of other programs. You offer ways to win prizes such as fabric, notions, and other cool things that relate to cotton cuts. We all love what you do to keep us engaged. What made you decide to do all of this and grow it over time?
Right. So for me, I knew from the very beginning, right? I've been a quilter since I was very young. Like, I didn't want to be a transactional website. I didn't want to be an Amazon. I didn't want to be, and I know they're big and ginormous, a fat quarter shop. I didn't want to be a website that you could come to and be everything for everybody. I wanted membership. I wanted community. I wanted people who were here because they wanted to be, not because they just needed to buy a yard of fabric and they were going someplace else. And so all of those elements really connect to everything we do. It's community. Quilters love community. It doesn't matter where you are. If you're a quilter, like, you have a best friend. And I wanted that to be part of the business and part of what we are doing. So whenever I'm onboarding a new employee, I always have them go and check out a whole bunch of other quilting websites. And then I have them look at ours. And I'm like, what are the biggest differences? And the number one difference is when you land on our website, there is no like shop or sale. It's all like educational and informing and, building community. Let's all learn together. There's no like, hey, filter and sort by price and sort by size. And here's a sponsored post. I didn't want any of that. That's not very exciting. That's just buying inventory and selling it and not really knowing the people you're selling to. And I wanted way more than that for the business I was building.
So we only have a few minutes left, so I'll bring up one other thing. Last time we talked about a couple things that you were planning that you divulged to me for the first time for next year, and one of them had to do with creating your own quilt from if I understood right, from a previous PMQ pattern. Can you give a more in-depth explanation to that, so that when people say, well, what did you mean by that?
Okay. All right. So, okay. So let's start with what it will be. And so in August, we are going to launch this. And so we are going to start with a previous mystery quilt design. And so Aurora is one of the early mystery quilt designs. It is kind of a star within a star within a star. And the idea is we're going to put a new designer collection. So just this past week, we saw the new Katy collective, right? It has a ridiculous number of SKUs. It's very bright. It's a lot of fun. And so we will have some pre-selected designer fabrics. Now, Katy will not ship to us until March, right? This is fabric that's just being pre-sold. So we will upload all the images for Katy onto the website, and you can go in and click for what you want fabric A to be. What do you want fabric B to be? What do you want fabric C to be? D, E, and F. And then the quilt is going to design itself real time.
Oh, wow.
And so, I mean, fabric A, B, C, D, and E, and F, that's common PMQ nomenclature. Yep. That's how we identify fabrics. And so you can play with the designer and you can be like, for fabric A, I want to do this blue. And for fabric B, I want to do this green. And the design and it's all digital, right? It's not real fabric.
Right.
It's all on the computer screen, but it'll actually render what the final quilt will look like based upon the images you select. And then when you're happy with it, you click buy. And then our team will pre-order the fabric we need. And when the fabric comes to us in March, we'll do all your die cutting. We will do all the kitting, and we will send you the quilt you designed all pre-cut.
So will that be an entire kit, or is that going to be spread out over time?
Entire kit. Entire kit. It'll be exactly like, so again, we're doing the prepaids now because that's kind of our test case for what we know is coming. Okay. And so you will get an entire quilt in a box that you have designed using a latest, greatest, fresh, new released collection. Now, understanding that not everyone has the patience to go through and click all the images.
Oh, yeah, of course
our
not.
team our team will put together some quilts of using the new CAFE collection. We will put together 3 or 4 that you can just click and buy. And then when March comes, we will die cut it all and we will send it all to you.
Will you be offering any solids with that? So if somebody wants to use a background color, they can?
So we will put coordinates in there. The CAFE collection has a lot of like neutrals, like tone on tone. So it has some whites on grays, grays on whites, white on white, and some black, right? So there's definitely, and when we design it, you know, we have a lot of variability of scale and variability of color because eyes need to rest, especially CAFE. CAFE can be very, very
Yeah,
busy
it's like in
in a
your
quilt.
face.
Yes. And so, yeah, so that will be definitely, we probably won't put too many basic prints in there, but we will have a variability of, and every time we see a manufacturer's collection, there's always, you know, coordinates. So we will probably upload those as well because those are open stock and reorderable.
Okay, that sounds wonderful. Okay, so
Yeah.
I think this is going to be where we come to a stop, and
Mhm.
stay tuned for part 4 so that we can talk more in depth about cotton cuts itself. And thank you, Kim, for coming for interview
You
number
got it.
3.
Yeah,
And we'll see y'all on the next one.
you got it. Thanks, Katie.
Thank you.